So in today's episode I will be light painting the mushrooms. So I will look further into it today if it's something for me in the future. And it's good content for the YouTube channel, trying out some new equipment. $10 at Temu. Let's take a look on what that can give you out in the fields. So yeah, I didn't have to move far until I found a very interesting location because of that recent rainfalls over the couple weeks. And mushroom grows so quick that in this small section of area I'm at now, there's a multitude of different species and different sizes. It ranges from the tiny white cat to some very interesting purple mushrooms. I think I found maybe 3 or 4 potential compositions already just by looking around for 5 to 10 minutes in this one spot. And it's not a huge area this. First I have to tread very careful around here because there's a lot of mushrooms in this place, but most of them are here in front of me, and on that trunk there's something very special. I stumbled upon a tiny mushroom that grows on this nut. I think it's from the beech tree, but in this small area there's 3, maybe 4 compositions that I want to take a deeper look into. So let's stop talking and get out some equipment. So yeah, I think the one mushroom that speaks to me is this weird looking shape, and it's growing somewhat twisted, and I really like that because most of the mushrooms are just straight and look the same, most of them. I want to capture the weird ones. My first test shot was aperture of 5.6. I bump up the ISO to 500, and that gives me a shutter speed of 1/13, and it came out surprisingly sharp by just placing the camera in the ground, resting the lens on my hand. It gives surprisingly good images with a very low shutter speed. On this next composition I want to use my tripod because that is my favorite so far. These purple mushrooms in between the green moss. I think that looks very nice. That's something that I really enjoy capturing, when it's not only the focus on the mushroom but a little bit more of the environment along with it. And yeah, by the first look of it I am very interested in this one. I want to show you the difference between with and without lights on this scene. So you can see now when we put the lights we get rid of that ugly shadows underneath the mushroom cap. I think this looks way better. Not sure if I want to include another light, but yeah, maybe that looks better. Just set it right like this. Oh yeah, I think I like that. So 2 lights slightly in front, so I get the mushrooms pretty lit up. I use ISO 64, a slow shutter speed 1/13, and I also use my remote shutters f4 and focus stacking this. So this next scene with a very special looking subject, I'm thinking about including a lot. So I try first an aperture of f16 because I want all the details. So I really want to emphasize that that needle look from that both plant and the nuts together with this mushroom. I will also try to create a close-up. I do a low aperture, one shot, 4 seconds, ISO 64. So let's see how that turn out. And I will also focus stack, but I think that can be a little pain in the ass because there's so much detail in this scene. So I will do a few variations and see what looks the best when I get home. Struggling a little bit with that tiny mushroom on that nut. I was so fixated, but it's not an easy composition to make a good photograph of that. Instead, I want to go back to the first I found in this spot, and that is that wicked growth mushroom. And I just come to remember I didn't photograph it with light, so that's what I'm about to do now. I will do it handheld because I want to go all the way down on the ground. I will set up the light. The mushroom is here, and I will just hold my camera and watch what different kind of lights do to the scene and find my preference. Slightly warm, I think, looks nice. I also want to test out some color. So let's see how that affects the image. I think that looks very, very weird. I'm not sure if that is the way to go, but maybe not as strong like this. Wow, yeah. Let's try purple here. I want to try that. A light source number 2. And now I will try to do my handheld focus stack aperture of f4. Just have to set up my camera for a shot of this mushroom. I feel like the first image I took was a little bit off. I placed the mushroom in the center, but it was, because it's just one subject, it feels a little bit off. And yeah, first composition was horizontal, and now I switched to a vertical approach to this. I think that's the right thing to do because it's a very long stem, and yeah, since the mushroom is in that direction, I think the composition should also be like that. I switched from the normal format to 5x4 to make it look less like a panoramic in the vertical. Now I go for a different approach, but because of the light, I think it's very nice to aim my camera slightly down and have that warm tones on the leaves. It's a tiny mushroom here. Love this moss. It's leading down here. We got this mushroom, and we got the pathway leading out in the backdrop. So yeah, I just wanted to check it out if it looks great. I just looked for a composition handheld, and I think this got some potential. So I want to actually try out a composition here. I put the mushroom on my left, and I have the pathway in the background, and it creates some nice bouquet. And that's the reason I went for this. And I will try some side lighting here too in this composition. Tried both side lights in front and in the back, and I instantly fell in love with that backlit scene with somewhat a white cold light behind it. I feel like this place has some great potential. I'm a sucker for that moss, and the floor is covered in it. I spot a couple of mushrooms already. I know there must be some treasure here, so I need to be quick on this one. Here I want to use the natural light. The sunlight is moving constantly. Yeah. Of course I did make it on time, and that is when this is coming in handy, adding some of that extra light on the scene here. So I framed up a little different composition than what I stumbled upon with the sunlight. It's all about the moss and the lines in this tree. And when I put some soft light on it, I think it looks absolutely amazing. A nice little composition that with the use of some light. I can't believe I was against that. I can really see why people do this, even though I was a little bit against it in the beginning, but yeah. Now you can create scenes and you are not that depending on the light conditions. You can create it yourself and form the image more into your own. So yeah, in some ways you create the image more than by using the natural light in some way. I could not take in this image if it wasn't for that external light source. So let's head on to the next composition, and let's try to be a little bit more creative and try to use some different colors or something else. I found an interesting subject here in between the birch trees. I figured there must be some different mushroom growing here. In this composition I wanted to try out two light sources. I'm going for a slightly warm light. I use aperture of 5.6 because I want some more of the foreground and the leaves together with the mushroom. So I need a little bit more details, so I figured out that was a suitable aperture. ISO is still 64 and we have that slow shutter speeds. There's nothing moving today. Here is the mushroom I photograph and I put the light on each side. And the one on the right side with a little bit more luminance. Sitting on my lens cap, but it's still intact. I feel I rushed a few subjects today. Yeah, I think that is probably because of the motivation for trying out the lights. And yeah, I bring out the camera maybe just a little bit too quick, but yeah, it's fun. I'm surrounded by a fairy ring. It's difficult to see, but the ring is going around that and coming back. It was supposed to be some mystical, supernatural thing, this. It's also linked to witchcrafts. But yeah, you should not step inside of it, and I already did, so I'm supposed to be cursed now. I just have to apologize to the elves. I'm so sorry, fairies. I chose to add some sidelight into my scene here, because I think that really makes that tiny mushroom stand out. So yeah, I just want to keep things simple. I tried a lot of different comps, but I didn't really feel it. It's all about the huge amount of mushrooms, and I want to showcase that, so I do a f22, couple shots, and yeah, easy, just frame up and try to have as much of that yellow mushrooms in the frame in okay composition, I guess. Yeah, I want to show them. It's not about creating a nice image, but this is fascinating mushrooms I want to show you guys. I don't think I want to spend more time on this fairy ring. It was somewhat difficult to find a nice composition, but I tried for so long. I really find it so interesting when there's so much mushrooms in one spot. So I want to try to show that in a nice way, but it's difficult to create a nice composition like that. So let's head on. It's so much easier to isolate a mushroom or a few ones. Beautiful little section here with this fairy ring inside of these spruce trees. And yeah, Holmen is a very nice place because there's so much variety of trees. We got that beech tree section, birch trees, and here was some spruce trees. And I think that different mushrooms grow in different environments. Some thrives in this and some thrives in that. So yeah, some interesting play with the light today. I was really happy with that. I didn't get to play a lot with colors. I think that's better if you are going to make the mushroom glow in appearance. But I didn't find any mushroom that's suitable for that, because you have to light it from the top to make it appear that the underneath of the mushroom is glowing. But it's definitely on my plan this autumn, so it will come in later videos. I think that's all for today. Please hit that like notification so you don't miss the next videos. And if you have something to say, comment. Until next time, out.